Hey guys, hope you are doing well. So in this video, we're gonna talk about router. At first, I said, okay, we'll cover this in my big live session about this big live environment. Of course, I have more machine, but first, I just for this video um, only active them. And why? Because you have my SCCM primary site server and my secondary site SCCM server, which are located in a different network. And what it means that you need absolutely a router in order to drive traffic from here. Sorry, in order to drive traffic from here to here. Okay? And from here to here, etc. So it's very, very important. Router are so much important. If you don't implement any router, you aren't able to have like a second site and have like with other servers and you cannot connect them. It's not possible to make them connect. So there is different way to set up your router. And guys, if I just talk about this, because I don't know if I said it, why I'm making this video is because Ant told me that they struggled with implementing this. And yes, guys, there isn't that much content on YouTube, and that's why I'm making the video. I'm making the video in order to show you how to do it, because in YouTube you don't have that much content, and it's important to go on details because you could be stuck and you will spend hours and hours and hours to figure out what's going on. So the thing that I have in mind, and I should not forget this. Um, okay, I wanted to take this off. So it's guys, when you are implementing different site network, you should go to edit. It's very important, and go here, virtual network, and implement your second network. I will go more in depth in my big live session, but it's very important. And also the second thing that is a troubleshoot that everybody goes. I have, and you guys don't imagine how much message I have about this during the day. There is and me too. It happens to me sometimes when have many things in mind. I forget the basics of troubleshooting. When you are, for example, configuring this site, my domain controller in my, and guys, remember, small introduction, here it's Paris site, my Paris site, and here it's my Lille site. Okay, so right now I'm in my Lille site, and because my Paris site is always the default, so there is always this virtual network editor that comes by default, which is the VMnet one. But for example, when I implement this one, I was struggling with other thing and I was thinking about other stuff, because when you do troubleshooting, you need to think about so much thing at you need to think about so much things, and I forget that's why I'm having issue about my network. It's because in the settings here I have my I have I click on this host only or here, but by default it will give you the VMnet one. It will give you your first site, so you need to really pay attention to this when you're having a secondary site and you are demoting, creating new servers and doing this and that and having many things in mind. Don't forget that by default it will always give the host only for your primary site and not your secondary site. So yeah, so the thing that I wanted to talk about is this. You have many way of setting up your router, okay? before I talk about this, it's very important that I set the 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 frame. Is that when you have a router. Okay, guys, I can just take this off. Um, okay, I didn't want to do this, but that's fine. I would just now you know what's going on. Okay, you know what's going on. So if I do a ipconfig, you will see that here 192.168.5716, it's my Paris here. This one, site 00, it's my Paris site, okay? It's my Paris site. Site 00, because it's the first one. Here, site 1, it's my Lille, okay? It's my Lille network. Guys, I have to pause the video and I think I have to make a quick explanation about this. Um, Basically, I just made for my group, my community, this actual document that I gave to them, and I think it's important that you see also this. So I make one in French, but I make just a translation in English, so you could have a better understanding for people who speak in English. So I will just quickly cover what's going on here because I think it's important. Um, so as you can see, guys, here we have two domain controller. We have two sites. Sorry, we have two sites. One site located in Paris and the other site in Berlin. The only thing that you need to understand is that in order for to network to connect, you need a router. What is a router? It's simply, in our case, two adapter that represent the Paris adapter and the Berlin site. So the Paris site and the Berlin site. And how it works. Basically, I think I said it multiple times in the actual video, but I'm gonna emphasize again what's going on. In order for the Berlin server to say to connect with the Paris site, he will actually, for example, said, let's say it's just a command prompt that say ping this server, this DC1. The actual network in Berlin couldn't find it. He could not find it. So he will go to his default gateway. And what is his default gateway? It's the actual IP address that is implemented in the router that is part of the Berlin site, because you have two IP address. Like I said, one IP address is located in the Paris site and you have another adapter that is located in the Berlin site. Okay, two adapter, one Paris, the other Berlin. And if he doesn't find the actual IP address, he will say, okay, let me ask my default gateway, this one, the router IP address, and ask him if he knows this address. So then the data packets will flow from this router, and this router will say, do you know this person that is located in the Paris site? And the router will say, yeah, I know, is located there. And then he will route the packets, the data from Berlin server to the router, and then the router will say, okay, it's this domain controller, I know him. And then the packets will end up to Paris. Okay, guys, so just pause the video if you want to to understand what's going on here. And here it's in French. And his network is 172.30.31.0.2. Okay. Why I'm saying this? Oh, sorry guys, my actual network for Paris, it's not this. This is the actual the IP address of the router. But sorry, I was confusing. I was talking about another thing. The actual router where the router is located, it's 0. Guys, please, if you don't understand why I'm saying this, you need to go back on the video that I make yesterday, the live that we did no, sorry, it's not yesterday. That we did last time about networking. I maybe talk during like more than 1 hour about all the concepts about networking, and it's very very important that you understand IP subnet, networking address, CITR notation, and all of these things that concern um, that concern networking. So here is where my network is located. Okay, it's here 192 168.57.0 slash 28, I think. 28, yeah, yeah, 28. And this one is basically point 0, okay? And here it's 172.3100, and my network is located here, okay? So but the IP address of this actual router, it's I have two adapter. I have first adapter for the Paris site and a second adapter for the Lille site. Okay? Again, the first IP address finish with for my Paris site finish with 0.16, and here in my Lille site this router have the IP address of 0.2. Okay? Now, why I am emphasizing on this aspect? It's because when I go to my actual DC2 and I go to control panel and go on domain network, which is my actual host only network, my host only adapter, I go on properties and you will see here what's going on. Then I want to take my other domain controller. Sorry, sorry. Cancel this. And I will go same on my domain network, which is my host only adapter, and we will confront the two. Okay, so what's going on? Why I'm showing you this now? I think that this is done. We are done with this. You guys understand the actual network topologies. Here it's more about the logical topologies. Remember what is logical topologies, guys? Logical topologies means how data flows, into your network, which means how your data go from one place to another place. And we are only talking about this, guys. We're talking right now about logical topologies and how you should understand how router function. So here you have my actual um, IP properties. Okay, you have my IP properties. My IP address for the domain controller is it finished with 0.19. Okay, 0.19, same, of course, same network address, 0.19 subnet mask, and then default gateway. And why? What do you think about this? The default gateway, it's actually where if it doesn't have any answer, if it doesn't find the answer, he will go to this default gateway. And what is the default gateway? When I say you don't have answer, it means when you are pinging, for example, something that is not on this network. Okay, for example, you ping 192.168.57 point 13. He will try to find it, and he will find it. When you ping, for example, same point 2, he will try to find it, and he will find it because it's in the same network. But if, for example, you do 172.52 etc., he don't recognize it because it's not in the network. Okay, guys, think again, because we are mimicking a company environment. Think of it as, and again, guys, it's very important. All the thing that we are doing here, it's in order to mimic company environment. is the only aim, the only objective of this session is just to mimic a company environment, so you understand, for example, how switch function. And switch can only talk. You need to. I'm gonna redirect you to the live that we did, because it's exactly what we cover, exactly what we covered. So uh, when he doesn't find the IP address, he goes to the default gateway. And who is this IP address? If you guys remember, it's this one. It's the IP address of my router here. So if the actual DC here, my domain controller, doesn't find any of the IP address that is outside of the network, that outside of the Paris sites, okay, so you have an office in Paris, and your actual machine doesn't find it, doesn't find the actual network IP address, he will directly directly go to the default gateway and say, maybe you know better than me, so could you please find this IP address for me? And that's why router comes into place. Okay, router comes into place to connect different network to each other. Okay, different network. And guys, internet, it's only about router. Okay, there is no cloud, there is not this. I again talk about this during my life. There is nothing about this. Okay, cloud, it doesn't mean anything. When people said, yeah, it's internet, it's like a cloud system where, you know, it's only router, guys. It's only network connecting other networks. Okay, only this. And cable. Internet, it's only cable and router. That's it. Of course, I'm really simplifying it, guys. I'm really simplifying it, but it's better than just saying cloud. It's going to internet and representing something like this, like, yeah, here it's internet, and here it's your local office. I don't like this expression because it's very confusing to say this. But I could use it sometimes, this expression, but you guys already know what I mean by cloud or internet. Okay, so um it's the actual job of the router server to handle all the foreigner IP address that is not recognized by this domain controller or this SCCM server, etc., etc. That's why on each of your domain controller, normally everybody has NIT on it. Everybody implements another network adapter, which is NIT, to have network connection, to have internet connection. Sorry, to have internet connection. That's why everybody has this. But when you are working in an advanced lab environment, you do things a bit differently. You would have a router server, which is just a Windows server, and you will configuring it to drive all traffic to him. Okay, to drive every traffic of him. So when he doesn't find the actual IP address, it could be, you could go on Canva, on antidote-security.com. You could go on I don't know, Shopify, Facebook, Instagram, everything that you want. If it doesn't find, or just another site, your other site, you simply your other network site, which is in Lille, for example, in my case, and the router will always be the middleman. Okay, he will always be the middleman of all of your network flows. He goes from there, and then he goes to the domain controller. Here, if you have, for example, Canva, or what is a big site, Facebook, he will go first to your router server, and then Facebook. Okay, and then the Facebook server. So it works like this. Now, how do you implement, how you configure your router to be a router? How you configure your Windows server to be a router? So you need to go. So again, you don't have that much content on YouTube about this. What you would see I think this guy called MSIT on YouTube, if I'm correct. You would go on. It's like the very simple way to do it, but I will show you then what is the advanced way of doing it. You go to the registry editor and you go here. I will show you the path. So you go first H key local machine, then system, then current control set, then services, and then TCP IP, if I'm correct. If I'm correct, yeah. TCP IP and parameters, and then you would see. I don't think normally you would see IP enable router. You have to install it. So to implement it, you say new and then d word, and you just need to implement one. Okay, you need to implement one. 0 mean it's not active, and 1 mean it's active. Okay. So also, I need to say this. When you implement your Windows server, you don't need to add this Windows server to your domain network, okay? You don't need to have this router server, in my case, in anti.security.com, okay? You don't need to have this under anti.security.com. Just in case, just for the newer arrivals, guys, it doesn't mean like if I have this, it's just a background cover, okay? It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that this Windows server it's on the domain network. I could of course set this up in the group policy, and whenever a machine comes in anti.security.com, this background image come into place. I could do it manually, okay? So whenever you have when you want to implement a basic router server, you can just do this and not even implement this Windows server to the domain network, and it will still work. Now, what is the issue about this? The issue is that first, when I say it will work well, I mean if you disable everything and you just have your host only adapter and you ping your I'm in Paris here, so if I want to ping the Lille site, okay, so imagine a cable that goes from here to DC2 to router, and another cable that go from router to DC1 to the Lille site. You will just ping it, so 172.31.0.3, if I'm not. Yeah, it's this one, yeah. But actually, I could just do this. I could just do DC1. I think I call it like this. I'm not sure. Oh yes, it's correct. I call it DC1 Lil. So yeah. So basically, it worked like this, and same for DC1 Lil. Same for the SCCM secondary side server. By just having this basic concept of it, I will simply be able to send data from here. It will be our middleman, the router, and then take this data and send it to the domain controller here or the CCM server. Now, for the opposite, why I wanted you also to show you the actual DC1 Lil site this Windows server, it's because look, here we have same. This is my actual network for Lil. Okay, 172. Just remember this, 172. Here it's 2. Okay, the default gateway it's 2. So what it means? It means that you have to implement a network adapter host only, and forget about this, guys, for now. Forget about the internet adapter, okay? You need to implement another adapter, Lil, which is this one, 172.31.0.2, in order to be a switch, to act as a switch, which is like to act as a router, sorry, to be able to connect different network with each other. Okay, again guys, remember, switch is for layer 2, which is it only recognized through MAC address. Switch doesn't recognize through through IP address. Okay, very important guys. So when you have these two Ethernet adapter, here site Paris, here site Lille, and you have on all of your machine in Lille have this default gateway that is set to 172.31.0.2 for all of your machine, it means that whenever he doesn't find it, he will ask the router, can you find it? Okay, so this basic concept and basic configuration setup work well. Okay, it worked well for beginner. It worked very well. It's also very great to do it in order to understand how network function, how logical topologies work, and you could do also trace RT here. You could do trace RT, and sorry, this one is a QWERTY, is not. I still didn't. Hold on, trace RT, yeah, and you can do trace RT and go, and let's say I want to, but I prefer to do it on the DC too. You could do trace RT and do 192. No, sorry, 170. Oh my god, 172.31.0.3, which is my domain controller, my Lille domain controller. If I'm correct. You see, first, look what he will do. He will first go to our default gateway, point 16. Remember, guys, here my default gateway is point 16. Why? Because he doesn't find it. He couldn't find what is once. By the way, guys, just trace RT. Look at it as a ping. Okay, it's like ping but advanced mode. So he was trying to ping 172, but he couldn't find it in the actual network, address. So he said, okay, maybe I can ask the default gateway because I don't find it, and I will ask him. So first he will go there, and then the router server said, yes, I know who is it, because I have. Why he know? Simply because he have another network adapter, and we also configure IP enable routing. He have another adapter that is actually configuring to this to the Lille site network address. So the router server will simply give the data packets to the DC1 site Lille. Okay, so it works very great, guys. It's a very good things to do for beginner, even maybe a little bit higher than beginner, I think. Yeah, it's not really beginner to do this type of thing, but it's a good things to do in order to understand logical topologies, how it works. The problem with this, you need an advanced settings in order to have a complex settings like I have right now, which is a primary site server and then a secondary site server. It's not enough. You need. Why it's not enough? Because you would say, okay, everything works perfectly. I just need to enable my NIT now, and because as you know, SCCM servers depends a lot on internet, and in order to have, in order to be able to do everything that I want, I just need now to, sorry, in order to have all of these logical topologies working perfectly, all this big network working perfectly, I just need to add my adapter, my NIT adapter, to have internet, so my SCCM will route at the same time internet when he need it, for example for software updates or other thing that he needs, and at the same time I need host only adapter. I need local network adapter to be able to route the traffic, which is the application, the packages, the information, the CCM, etc., for the other machines. But it doesn't work like this. It doesn't work this way. Why? Why it doesn't work this way? Because when you are adding a NIT adapter over a host only, he will always overwrite. Rides. He will always override. Meaning, he will he will supersede. I don't think if we can say this. He will always supersede. So he will always say, no, no, we will always use NIT and we will not use your host only. So meaning, if you are implementing this, you will lose your router. You will you lose your router because anytime you try to ping, you are here, your domain controller in Paris is here, and your domain controller or your CCM server here try to ping the domain controller in sorry guys, he will try to ping your domain controller in Lille, okay, or your SCCM secondary side server. He couldn't do it. He will not be able to do it because the what will come first is your NIT. Your NIT will okay. Can can you look at this? Let me because right now my configuration is good. Like I've set it the right way. Uh, maybe if I go here, let me check. Like this, you will have a clear understanding of what's going on. For the first time, I hope it will not work. So yeah, I hope it will not work if I do this. Let's say ping my other. Perfect. It doesn't work. Yep. So I will do this. First time I'm that much exciting and happy to see something that it doesn't work. Um, let's see. Okay. What do you think that is? What do you think that is? Compare to here. When we went here, when we went on trace RT, it went first to the router server and then drive the content, the data packets, the packets to my domain controller. So I went from my domain controller to the router to my other domain controller in Lille. Okay? When I go here, but because you have the internet setup, you have my NIT adapter, it will always override. Always overrides. Meaning it will say, no, I don't want to use the NIT said, no, I'm the big boss here, and we will always use let me pause. We will always use my adapter no matter what's going on. But if I ping let's not say this. Like, okay, guys, you just need to think about this, okay? He will always ping. He will always use the NIT adapter, even though you have made so much efforts by configuring your domain network, implementing a router, and doing the all default gateway so you could drive data from your site machine to the router to the destination. It will not work like this because this NIT adapter, which is here, guys, just as you remember here, it will always overrides everything. So you can do so. It will be very hard for you to actually um, to to yeah, it will just not be possible. It's not that it will be hard. It's just that it's not possible. So how you could solve it, guys? How you could solve it? Why it's a dilemma? Because in order to be able to have a second site, you need at the same time being able to communicate through local um, to LAN, to local area network, and at the same time with internet. What I mean, it's more a wide area network. You need to work with a one Wayne Wayne wide area network, and at the same time with internet. But if you only use internet, it means that your SCCM server won't be able to do anything. It won't be able to implement the software client, neither the actual application, the packages, the software. Like he will not be able to just communicate. Simply as this, he will not be able to communicate with your secondary sites. So what you do, you just take off internet. Okay, I will just work with my host only, but it doesn't work anyway because SCCM needs internet also. Many people like in the group have so much issue by if they switch off internet and IT, they won't be able um, to actually implement. Sorry, they will not be able to send the software client, the CCM setup, like to set up the SCCM and just communicating with other machines, even though they are on the same network, but just SCCM, the clients, both of them, the clients and SCCM need internet. So what do you do? What you do is that you need to use a configuration on Windows Server that is called routing and remote access. Why is not set up? I have it set up. Is that a joke? Oh, he's here. Okay. Okay. Um, so what you need is that look at this, guys. Here you have your DC2. What do we want? We want our M is our SCCM. Guys, by the way, just as a note, MECM is the new appellation for is the new common name for SCCM, okay? But many people still using SCCM. So this SCCM and this domain controller, we need to route the traffic from here to the router, and then either if we are pinging the if we are communicating with the little site, then he will give the packets to the little site, or if we are communicating on internet, we want this router to send the network on the internet, okay? On the internet. Okay, guys? So what do we want? We want actually that this router is able and have a configuration on we want to implement this configuration that either you receive if you receive data from Paris site that goes from Lille site, you route the traffic to here. But if the guy in Paris wants to communicate to internet, we will send him to the internet, okay? And it's exactly what I have implemented. I implement a centralized and unified net networking networking structure where the router does everything, does transmit all of the data. He will be like the middleman of everything that's going on in the network. Okay, so how do you implement it? It's not that much complicated, but you just need to understand the concept. It's, I think, understanding the concept, it's more important than just doing what you like, just doing the configuration. So these tools, if you don't have it, I think most of you don't have it, so you just need to install it here. Manage, you go to manage, add roles, and it's a role, okay? It's not a features, it's a role that you need to install. Um, and it will be here, remote access. And you need to check only this, okay? You don't need direct access and VPN. You just need routing, okay? I think when you first set this up, you will not be able to see it. You will see some like some option that will be here, and you just need to say yes for routing, for remote and routing access. Okay, routing and remote access. You just need to check this box. It will not be here, but it will be um, just before you install the roles. It's not that much complicated. So sorry, after doing this, you will go to server manager, tools, and you will simply check here, click here, remote access management. No, sorry, routing and remote access. Okay. So when you will do this, you will have that. And what it means? It means that here, also guys, you can the configuration that we just did on the registry editor, you can keep it. You don't need to uninstall it, or sorry, you don't need to delete it. Just keep it like this, okay? Just keep it like that. You would need to create, I think, from my memory, you need to uh, just do this and add a server, and you just check on this computer, okay? When you will have this computer, you would need to say configure and enable routing and remote access. Me, I can't because I already do it. I already do this. Let me check. Let me remember. Yes, guys, very important. Before you do anything, because you would have set up a basic environment where host only can where it's just a WAN, which is a wide area network, which means this host only adapter can connect with this host only adapter through this router. You don't need NIT adapter, okay? But now you will need to implement this NIT adapter. Now it will be useful, okay? Guys, just in case, always go on the network settings for example internet, and make sure that is set to IP address automatically, okay? To obtain IP address automatically. Some of you came, I think it was Luca, if I'm no, no, sorry, it was Antoine that came to me and told me that like he had so much trouble. It's because here it was Tickle, and it was something like his own network, like 192.168.57.2, but it should always be okay IP address automatically. Otherwise, it will not work. So please pay attention to this. And guys, it's this type of troubleshoot that literally could cause you 2 hours or 1 hour, just because you're searching. Maybe not one, maybe not 2 hours, but like something like 40 minutes. And it will be, and 40 minutes, it's a lot because like you guys have stuff to do. You're not all day on your machine, etc, etc, etc. So it's very important that you check this. So um as you can see here, I have my NIT adapter and my Paris site and my Lille site, okay? So now I will go back on here, and I will so when you have this setup, you just need to go on NIT, if I'm remember well. Um, okay. And you would have, if you don't have everything implemented, you just need to do this. Normally, you should have your Paris site, your Lille site, your internet adapter, and all of the adapter that you have on. If you don't have it, simply do this and new interface. Me, there is no new router because everything is here, so that's why he doesn't propose me anything else. Okay, and what you should do, site one should be a private. Okay, guys, I'm just going because I have stuff to do just after, very important stuff to do. So site 0, site 1, it's the actual Lille site. Site 0, it's the actual Paris site, always set to private, but same for internal. But for the internet, you should have public interface connected to the internet, enable NIT, etc. Guys, I just remember something. When you will actually have this configure, you would go to certain steps. Okay, you would go to a certain steps. Let me remember. Let me remember. You would need to check NIT. Okay, you would need to check NIT because he will ask you like many things, and you will need to check NIT. And once you checked NIT, let me remember. You would have. You would need to check your internet provider. Guys, just go back to me, go send me a message if you are not sure about what you are doing. But the aim, the concept is that it will be your internet. So yes, I think I remember. First you check NIT when you go from here, like here, and configure this. You check NIT, and then you need to check your internet um, adapter, because it's this adapter that will bring connection to all over your machine. And then yes, and then you implement, and then you check site 1. In my case, I check site 1, which is my first site. But why site 1? I don't remember exactly. Guys, just for this, send me a message, okay? Send me a private message if you're not sure about what you're doing. But or you can just ask ChatGPT for this. You know, guys, like just ask ChatGPT. I know he will tell you about this because it's not that much complicated. It's just like configuration stuff. And yeah, I remember I did this. I remember I checked NIT, then I checked the internet adapter, and then I checked the site 1. I checked the first site. So then you would need to go on static router. Sorry, no, static routes, and you will need to implement both your first site and your second site. So here, as you can see, it's my first site, which is Paris site, and I have to implement. No, sorry. It's here. It's my Lille site. Okay, it's my site 1. Site 0, it's actually Paris, and my site 1 is Lille. So I first need to add site Lille here. You see, so I check site Lille, and I point towards the Paris site. So Lille, the IPv4 static routes of Lille needs to point in the destination will be the network address of my Paris site, network mask, as you know, and gateway. And gateway will be the router server. Okay? Okay, and same for this one. Sorry. Same for my Paris site. My Paris site need to route traffic towards the destination of the Lille network address. Okay, point zero point zero, it's the network address, it's where the network live, and after network mask, and then the gateway. And the gateway is the actual the actual IP address of the router server that you would have on every of your machine. Okay, remember guys, default gateway, it's this one. Okay, sorry, the default gateway of the little site will be there. So it will be, as you can see, default gateway 0.2. Okay, and here it will be point this way. And guys, after you did this, let me check. Normally at the beginning you will see, you will not see anything. Okay, you will see 0 everywhere. But once you go to internet, like if you go to internet and just type like this, and just yeah, just you just need to wait, and then you will see like some packets going out, going in, etc., etc. So after this, let me remember if I need to talk to you about stuff that are important to this, important to that topic. We cover this. So normally, if I recap, by doing this thing, by configuring the no, the routing. Sorry guys, I'm just like thinking at the same time I'm talking, because I don't want to end the video and leave you with something important that need to be configured. I just configure this, and then the other thing I didn't do anything. So as you can see, site 1 incoming 5 million, outgoing. And okay, if I could just now verify everything that I did, if I go to my router, sorry, to my router, and I said, okay, so guys, look what's going on here. My Ethernet, my NIT cable is disabled. Okay, my NIT cable is disabled, so there is no way I'm able to go on internet. You're okay, you're right about this. Your host only cannot do it. But if I go and I type like whatever, I can go on internet. What does it mean? It means that my traffic went from here to here and then went to the internet. Okay, he handles like everything now, right now. So if I do, for example, trace RT 88888, which is as you guys know, Google, it's the Google IP, so it's basically just internet. What he will do, he will go first to my router server. That's great, he will go first to my router server, but on this default gateway, guys, not the default gateway of the little site. He will check the actual default gateway of the of his own configuration. Okay, and then the router server will handle the assignments of sending the packets to the Google server. So it's like here, it's the NIT now. It's this NIT that will take over. He will take over the assignments of, you want to visit Google, you want to go on Facebook, you want to go. Now it's him, okay? And it's exactly how corporate function, guys. It's exactly this way. So why you are saying requested timeout, guys, it don't worry, it means that everything is working properly. It's just an actual way of, I think, security, because to prevent DDoS attack. So that's why. And if I do, guys, the exact same thing, it will be working without any problem. I still didn't do it on, let me check. If I take off, if I disable my NIT cable, my NIT adapter, so now there is only the actual. So if I do ping, if I ping, let's say first, let's do first thing, to ping the actual. The thing is, I don't remember the actual CCM server IP address. Let's ping the domain controller. 72 point. No, I make a mistake. 72.57 point. No, 19. Okay, perfect. It works. Now, just by curiosity, I want to see if it's. My bad. Okay, you see, he will take his own default gateway. He will check the Windows server, the domain controller of the Lille site. He will check the his default gateway because he cannot figure it out. What is 192? He doesn't recognize it. So he will go to this default gateway 172.31.0.2 and say, do you know that? Do you know this? And he will go to the router server and say, do you know this guy here, this IP address? And him, he will say, yes, I know. It's the domain controller of your first site. Okay. Now, more, it's where things get tricky. If I go on internet right now and I just see if the most important things is running well, it work well. Perfect, guys. Perfect. You see? So it means that now if I do trace RT, he will go first to the router server and then to internet. So guys, it's perfect. It's a good idea that I covered this right now. So when I will do the big live session about presenting all of this, my SCCM on the primary site and my secondary site, it will be a lot more simple, to 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 cover this. So guys, I hope you appreciate the video. I hope it was useful for you. And I'm thinking about one last thing that I didn't said about this. I think that's all, guys. If you have any question, don't worry, just send me a private message or send it to the group. Some people could help you. And yeah, that's it, guys. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, guys, we cover everything. We cover everything. Okay, guys, so see you next time.